Algebraic Equations Part 1. We can use an equation to represent an algebraic relationship. The input, or independent variable, represents the x value. The output, or dependent variable, represents the y value. An equation represents the relationship between the independent and dependent quantities. The trick we can use to help us remember this is dry mix. Dependent is always the y value and is graphed on the y-axis. Independent is the x value and is always graphed on the x-axis. Write an equation to represent the relationship between the independent and dependent quantities shown in the table. In order to do this, I need to compare each independent quantity to the dependent quantity that goes along with it. So I'm comparing 1 and 7, 2 and 14, 3 and 21, 4 and 28, and 5 and 35. And as I look at them, I need to determine what that relationship is. How can I make 1 equal 7? I can either do 1 times 7 or I can do 1 plus 6. So I'll say, okay, 1 plus 6 equals 7 and 1 times 7 equals 7. Now let's see what the relationship between 2 and 14 is. Well, I want it to be the same kind of relationship between 1 and 7. It's either additive or multiplicative. I can do 2 times 7 to equal 14, or I can do 2 plus 12. 2 plus 12 equals 14. 2 times 7 equals 14. Well, for it to be an additive relationship, I would have to continue adding by the same value each time. And since I added by 6 the first time and 12 the second time, this is not an additive relationship, and that cannot be our rule. But because I multiplied by 7 the first time and I multiplied by 7 the second time, then that's probably our rule. Let's just continue to check. 3 times 7 equals 21. Yes. 4 times 7 equals 28. Yes. 5 times 7 equals 35. Yes. So what we are doing here is we are multiplying the input, which is our x quantity, by 7 to get the output, which is the y quantity. And you need to make sure you write this in your notes. Based off of this, we can write the rule. The rule is going to be 7 times x. And then using the rule, we can write an equation. Equations start off with y equals, and then we fill in the rest with the rule. Y equals 7x, or 7 times x. Let's try another one. Let's compare our input and output, 5 and 1, 6 and 2, 7 and 3, 8 and 4, 9 and 5. And as I box in those numbers, I realize that there's nothing I can multiply or divide the inputs by to equal the outputs. But I can do 5 minus 4 equals 1. 6 minus 4 equals 2. 7 minus 4 equals 3. 8 minus 4 equals 4. And you should be writing all of this in your notes as well. 9 minus 4 equals 5. So what we are doing each time, the relationship is that we subtract 4 from the input, which is x, to get the output, which is y. Now that we've written it out in words, we can write the rule using symbols. X minus 4 is what we're doing here. And now that we know the rule, we can write our equation. Y equals x minus 4.